Some people see April 25th as just the 115th day of the year, 116th in leap years. You could be celebrating the birthday of Zev Segal by downing a venti white mocha quad shot, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, almond milk, extra hot caramel drizzle inside of the cup with extra whip. Or you could be mourning the deaths of B. Arthur or Left Eye Lopez. Now, what do I do to celebrate April 25th? Is it the feast of Giovanni Battista Piamarta? No, it's something more endearing to the heart. Because April 25th, 2012 was the day I saw the biggest spectacle in my concert history. The show generated one of my most read blogs and drew the ire of many of its fan base. Now, I've had the opportunity to visit the great country of Canada on many occasions, and they've given the world so many incredible things. Poutine, insulin, the snowblower, the 56K modem. And Body by OD. On a musical end, Canada has given us Rush, Annihilator, Loverboy. Now let's not forget Elda Nova, Bryan Adams, The Guess Who, and although not my thing by any means, Alanis Morissette, The Biebs, and Drake. But the worst thing they possibly could give the world isn't Tom Wilson or even Robert Picton. It's the subject of this video, which I'm going to take straight from what I blogged back in 2012. Yes, Screamers, I present to you Nickleback. I really hate when a show comes to town of a band I like is opening for a band that I'm not really interested in seeing. It's happened before. Roth opening for Hagar, Fates Warning opening for Dream Theater, and basically anybody that opens for the dreaded Poison. Now, when it was announced that Bush was opening for Nickleback, I thought I read the advertisement wrong. I mean, how can those no-talent ass clowns headline a tour? And how can anybody justify them opening for Bush? Back in the 90s, I went through a stint where I put metal on the back burner and took a liking to alternative rock. I listened to 104.7 The Revolution and 106.7 The X. And Bush was one of those bands I liked. I regretted passing on them in April 96 with No Doubt opening. That probably would have been a fun show. I finally did see them in October 2011 at Stage AE, but that's another review for another entry. Nickleback. I mean, this is wuss rock at its finest. These guys suck. I don't know anyone who likes them, probably because they suck. I mean, their looks is lame. Their songs are lame. And as Canadians, Sarah McLachlan rocks harder. I mean, did you catch their act in Detroit during Thanksgiving halftime show? 80,000 people booing them. In fact, the city of Detroit got a petition signed by over 50,000 people to prevent them from going on. And when they hit the stage at Ford's Field, as I clutched my brine turkey leg in my right hand, you guessed it, they sucked.
The annual United Way halftime show featuring Nickleback features over 900 community volunteers.
I'm walking into the Palumbo Center on the day before the show, and I see one of Duquesne's athletics trainers, Joe Gaddy. I get the usual greet, Rhino, but I got a follow-up. Vic needs someone to go with him to the Nickleback show. That's Vic Bauer, another one of the Duke's athletic trainers. Probably the hardest rocker ever to come out of Mercyhurst College. He's seen every epic show that's rolled through Erie, PA, including non-makeup Kiss during the Revenge Tour at the Erie Civic Center. In fact, he said Kiss was so loud, it drove him into nausea. It may have cracked his 11 and 12 floating ribs. Now, I honestly thought Joe was kidding about Nickleback until my phone rang a few hours later. It was Vic, and the invitation was extended. Our ticket guy, Jared Kramer, was the hookup, and after mulling it over with some gentle coaxing with a 5 p.m. pregame I was promised, I was in.
24 hours later.
Day of the show, a few minutes before 5, Vic and I make our way over to the Consol Energy Center. Much to our surprise, they were lined up to get in, like lined up 300 deep. from the Trib Total Media entrance to the corner of Center Avenue and Washington Place, from the Verizon entrance to the Cambria Suites. Now, we're not wasting time in line to go in the will call, so we ventured up to Tailgaters, which is in Washington Plaza. 18 wings and 10 beers later, we were ready to go. Seriously, something is going to have to ease the pain of the Nickleback show, and sweet alcohol was the answer. I went with the Canadian theme and ordered Labatt's while Vic kept bolstering the economy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania with Yingling. As we go through security, the guard looked at us, said, "You guys look familiar." Well, we told him we're from Duquesne. He's like, "Oh, Duquesne, that's right. Go right ahead then." No pat down, no frisks. Now I think about it, we could have smuggled more beers in. We get there as Seether ends its set. Never heard of them before, and the crowd looked bored during their set. We made our way out to section 122, and holy crap, we're like 10 feet from the stage. Far left side, almost in line with the drum set. Tremendous seats, and that's as close I ever have been, or probably ever will be, for an arena show. All for the low price of $0, or minus 9 cents Canadian. About 20 minutes later, Bush hit the stage, came out strong with Machine Head, and for a man of 46 years, Gavin Rossdale was still in great shape. In fact, during the Beatles cover of Come Together, he jumped off the stage, ran around the arena, from floor through sections 106 to 114, back on the floor, back on the stage. It's kind of reminded me of this Facebook gem from last year from Kelly Daly. In their 8-song set, most of the hits were played, plus one off the 2011 album called Sea of Memories. From start to finish, they were solid and very professional. Nickleback hit the stage. Now, I knew they were going to suck. It was just a matter of how much they were going to suck. And everything about their performance was lame. They lacked any originality. Everything they did was stolen from something or somebody else. Such as, one of the Nickelbacks had a camera that fed to the big screens behind them with hopes of attention-starved ladies showing them the goods. Played out, Tommy Lee did it during Motley Crue's Carnival of Sins tour. Their stage had people movers on it. Well, that's original. I mean, go to any major airport and you will get a better experience. Plus, you don't have to listen to Nickleback. And you guys lack so much creativity, you had to rip off the design of an airport. The chronic use of the F-bomb. Is there any worse way to get the cheap heat? I mean, that's as bad as a 58-year-old orange-skinned Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt and flexing to get the crowd going. The Nickelbacks threw out beer to the crowd. Sounds cool, right? You think plastic bottles, right? Those cheap asses threw out red Sola cups that were half filled, and in the process, I became victim of splashback. You dicks! Seriously, do it right like David Lee Roth did by having a little person dressed in a tux bring him a bottle of Jack Daniels.
The only people who put iced tea in Jack Daniels bottles is the Clash, baby!
The between-song banter was just awful, such as, "Pretend you're 13 and I'm Justin Bieber." Dude, that's wrong on so many levels and disturbing. They had a stage ascend from the ceiling that brought them out to the middle of the floor. Judas Priest did that something similar in 1986 on the Fuel for Life tour, except they had a 30-foot kick-ass robot do it. Paul Stanley Kiss had a platform set up on the floor for the 1998 Psycho Circus tour, and he took a trapeze to get there. Nickelback is just lazy. The stage was lowered right to them. They just walked a few steps to get on. They had a drum solo, because Nickelback's drummer is so skilled and respected among his peers, right? You're not Neil Peart. You're not Tommy Aldridge. You're not John Bonham. You're the drummer for Nickelback. They had roadies shoot t-shirts out to the crowd with the Nickelback t-shirt gun. I'm sure those were the shirts the hustlers outside the arena were selling for half the price that has the band's name spelled wrong on it. During one song, they had stock footage of gears turning. No better way to enhance and tell the story of a song than by showing something that was downloaded from canstockphoto.com. People were throwing flowers on stage. Well, that's okay if you're throwing him a Bon Jovi, but not at the Nickelbacks. Even if you got a good deal from proflowers.com, you just wasted your money. Their pyro was weak. Judas Priest pyro on the 1990 Painkiller tour blew my hat off, and I was sitting in the grass at Starlight, not 15 feet away from it. Metallica's pyro almost killed James Hetfield, and I could eat ice cream next to the Nickelbacks. And to make things worse, we were in front of a couple drunk women. One who kept shrieking something only could be translated by the Taliban. Large Marge made her way down to our row. Turns out she's the reason Section 122 smelled like fart. She said very confidently to me, "This is what it's all about." Seriously, I could understand that coming from some idiot teenager who has never had a chance to listen to good music, but this woman had to be as old as me. If not, well, she's going to be worth big points in someone's death pool someday. Then it got even worse. In the midst of flailing her body around, looking like MC Hammer on crack, Humpty, she knocked over what was left of my nachos onto the floor. Then she straddled the hockey boards. Then she humped the hockey boards. If you want me to say something positive about them, well, let's see. For instance, we've all studied real hard for a test at one time, only to bomb it. And that's how I look at this. They played hard, but they're just musically inadequate. They're a terrible band. I don't know any of their catalog, but I know when a band isn't playing with each other, and this is just four guys on stage not in sync. Yet the kids love them. The place was almost sold out. Why? Because they're safe. They're pretty much a Dave Matthews Band that is a little harder. They're a commercial band packaging crap music for a record company who molded them into what America and Canada is led to believe is a real rock and roll band. They have not one iota of artistic integrity. And one of the best quotes I read about them was, it was like Genesis, Bon Jovi, and Creed formed together and chose a frontman who looked like a bizarro version of Kurt Cobain with a perm. I had a great time, and so did Vic. He loves live music as much as I do, and it was fun watching the train wreck that was Nickleback. And there you have it. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and let me know how you like this video in the comments. What video would you like to see next? And no, I'm not going to another Nickleback show just to review it. But until next time, thank you. Good night.
You guys want to hear some rock and roll, or you want to go home? See ya.